Hey, welcome back. I've got a little bit of fitting issues on the upper motor mounts. I'll show you what I've done so far, and I won't have Roger's answer in this video, but I will in the future videos and make a solid decision of what we're going to do. But I'll show you what I've done so far. This is what started this whole thing. I've got this completely riveted in, the 80 degrees figured out, and this clamped in place. And to get it like flush on here, I would have to move the whole thing in, which is going to give me even more off center of the center for where all the strength is, in my opinion. And it says it's supposed to line up with this longeron level. Well, right now I couldn't even put it on because of that. It's that far off. And that's with putting it snug in this corner. Well, once I put that all the way over to the right and get that nice and snug so I can get closer to the center with the motor mount bolt, I'm going to have to slightly, because this front angle's slightly off, I'm going to have to angle this back and make this area here just a hair narrower, but we have a lot to work with. We'll see I think what Roger's doing is he's going to go through their bin and see if any of these, we measured that front and it's about 98 degrees and it should be 96 or 95 from here. Pop this off and show you. Well, show you this one. Putting it on here. Okay, to that side. And as you can see, it's about 99, 98. That could come back. And that's the amount that I'm dealing with. And I don't know if that's wedgeable, if that's a word. And I would prefer to just change that tail end just a little bit, and I got the blessing of Roger, so here we go. Looking at the construction of the two of them, and I laid them up and marked how far and the center was in that little mark there. It's off to the side. I kind of want it more in the center, and one of the reasons for that is, as you can see, this one didn't have this side plate laid inside and welded. They laid it on its side and welded it to it from the outside, which moved this whole thing over to the left, this one. And so I'm looking at this, and it's 35 millimeters, and then these are laid on the plate, which gets you over further. It's supposed to be flush with that, and so you can see it's not. So I think my fix is to slightly grind this weld until I get this plate to remove. And all I'm going to do is remove the weld material. Then I'm going to set it in there. And I might angle that back a little to compensate for this angle here and re-weld that back in. I also went to the EAA and looked up TIGging and welding, this type steel, which is 4130 chrome moly. And they say to just use your standard mild steel to weld these as far as filler rod goes. So that was surprising. I've never welded chrome moly, but I did find out if preheating it is necessary for a big part for something like this, it's not necessary. So onward and upward. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try just grinding off this part and see if... it came off pretty clean. As you can see, there was just a little weld through there and a little here. But as you can see from here, it didn't change that much at all. Just tried to get the weld out. And now this, instead of being placed on the outside and welded underneath, it's going to be like in the plans, put on the inside. I just got to figure out this angle back here and re-weld it. Well, got good news that that went well. I just got it cleaned up over there on the polisher. I haven't heard back from Roger yet, but he's planning on looking in the bin to see if there's one that's closer to the angle that it should be. We also looked on the paper, or we also looked up here in the blueprints, but it shows the angle that you have to bend that, but it doesn't tell you what the angle is. So that was interesting. The other thing I haven't been able to find is the holes. This is the part here, and I see that's put probably, you know, really close to the back compared to the floor. The floor one's up further, but I can't find a dimension to determine where that bolt goes. I do know that it goes in the center of this longeron. So once this is up on there and clamped in, I've got to locate it under for right in the center of that. Well, it doesn't say center. So I do have that measurement, the 8.5 from the edge for edge distance. That's not a problem, that fits good. Once I get that clamped up, I'll show you how it fits now. Well, as you can see, where the motor mount out here is going to be flush to this. There's no tension, it's just clamped on there now. And you can see this angle now is, I put it right out as far as possible. If anything, it's still just a hair proud of it right there, but I can deal with that. And when I clamp this in, now it's that there's no twist to this or anything. So I'm really happy with that. I just don't know if Roger's gonna be finding one that in the bin and send them out that are better than mine that I've already built. The only thing he did say is to narrow this back up. I took 4 millimeters off of that before I put that in. And to close that gap back here slightly. It's exactly the same in the front yet. And yeah, to angle it up, I think we ground it to about there. Well, actually all the way to the point, because I made it straight. But we took 4 millimeters off the back. The other one on the other side, we only had to take 3. So this one did the same thing on the other side, but it's not quite, as you can see, it's not quite as narrow. I'll try to get a good shot of that. Yeah, it's like 1 millimeter wider. I don't know if it's super good to have that. It does give you extra working room for working up in here, but he said that that would be no problem having that angled slightly in the back. The best part about all this is that mark right there. It was quite a bit further over to get that to fit. And now that is, for all purposes, right in the middle. It might be a hair towards this side, but that is, there's no measurement for that either. You just trim this corner here and, you know, drill it through the pilot holes that are up there. The only next thing I'm wondering about, and there's always something to wonder about, that rivet hole is going to get in the way. Are you guys drilling this and putting the rivet through there? I haven't seen that yet. Actually, I just answered my own question. There's enough probably depth with this here to put a rivet in this direction from this side in, and it'll probably clear. I'm supposed to be spending time building things like these, but I've been doing this kind of stuff out of a 2x4 for my grandchild when she comes over. She likes to paint, so this will give her a little project to play with. And you know how Christmas is, wonderful time. Now that I got that out of my mind for the most part, I suppose I better get started on something else here in the cabin. So we'll see you in the next one.